So I started my backyard homestead with this funky little shack. Now I'm starting a garden to go with it. And at first the old man was like, well, you know, garden's a lot of work and you don't have a lot of time to take care of it. I was definitely sensing a skeptical vibe. But he's got a good point. I don't have a lot of time to take care of a garden, and I'm not an experienced gardener yet. But I do know how to build stuff. And Dad changed his tune once he saw this badass set it and forget it irrigation system I built. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make one just like it in 3 easy steps, using a few basic tools and a bunch of stuff you can get down at the hardware store over by there. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I'm working on a little backyard homestead. It's a way to keep myself busy on the weekends, preparing for the collapse of civilization or underfunded retirement. My vision is to have 4 of these U-shaped beds running all the way down to the cabin there. Not enough to sustain 5 people, but it's not nothing. Since I am new to this gardening thing, I decided it was best to start small, just 1 bed, you know, baby steps. And since I don't have a lot of time on my hands, I decided an irrigation system would help save time and keep things well hydrated. I've learned that an irrigation system has a couple of benefits. Mainly, watering the plants at the roots helps avoid fungus and other bad stuff from happening. And the grid that it lays out is perfect for square foot gardening. I used the Garden in Minutes irrigation system as a model for my own garden. They use 3/4 inch pipes. I suppose you could get away with 1/2 inch pipes. Might be a little bit less expensive, but I figure the Garden in Minutes people know what they're doing, so I just followed their lead. This video focuses on a 4x4 layout for the center section of my bed, but you can easily customize it to fit the shape of any square foot garden. For printable plans that include this layout and a few others, I'll put a link down in the description. Or if you just decide you want to buy instead of build, there's no shame in that. I'll also put a link to the Garden in Minutes system down there too. Building it yourself, however, gives you a lot more flexibility to customize it. For example, over here where I'm planting some broccoli and a couple small rows of corn, things need to be spread out a little more than 1 square foot. So I was able to build a system just for that. The whole project's really not that complicated. You could easily get it done in 1 day. The 3 basic steps are cutting the pipe sections, drilling the holes, and then connecting the pipes with pressed together fittings. Easy peasy.
Okay, let's take a look at the tools needed for this project. You'll need a saw. A hacksaw will do, but a combination miter saw or chop saw is quicker. You'll need a drill. You can use either a wireless handheld drill or a benchtop drill press. A 1/16 inch drill bit. They're thin and sometimes break, so it's smart to have a few on hand. A ruler or a yardstick, a rubber mallet, a paint marker or one of those silver Sharpies, and a straight pick. Optional, but I recommend it. I put links in the description to where you can buy all these tools online. As far as materials go, you'll need some 3/4 inch poly pipe, also known as flexible water pipe. You can either buy it in bulk as a 100-foot coil, or if you buy it in 5-foot lengths, you'll need about 7 for today's project. The other parts you'll need include 9 cross fittings, 4 corner fittings, 12 T-fittings, 1 hose connector, a leader hose, and a sprinkler timer. Again, I put links to all these items in the description, but honestly, you're likely to find the best prices at your local hardware store, especially when it comes to the connector fittings, which raises a truly baffling question I hope someone watching this can answer for me down in the comments.
Can anyone tell me why this is 70 cents and this is $5? I really want to know.
Using a hacksaw or miter saw, cut the poly pipe into 39 10-inch lengths. You'll also need to cut 2 shorter 4.5 inch lengths. Then, using the paint pen and ruler, measure out and mark placement of the holes. You want 4 holes evenly placed along each 10-inch section, so place a mark every 2 inches. I used the white printing that runs the length of the pipe to keep the markings in a straight line. Next, drill your holes. 24 of the 10-inch pipes will get drilled all the way through, making 2 holes on opposite sides. These double-drilled pipes will form the interior sections of your 4-foot by 4-foot grid. 15 of the 10-inch pieces get drilled only through one side. These single-side pipes will form the outside perimeter of the irrigation grid. I suggest keeping the double-hole and single-hole pipes separated into two different buckets until it's time to assemble. This helps avoid getting them mixed up. If you have a straight pick, skewer, or something similar on hand, I recommend using it to ream each drilled hole by hand. This step might not be absolutely necessary, but I do it to make sure each hole is clear of any plastic burrs left behind. The water pressure might be enough to flush everything out, but this step really doesn't take as long as you might think, and it helps ensure water flows smoothly throughout the whole system. So I say it's worth the extra effort. Now it's time to assemble the pipes together with the connector fittings. I recommend laying it all out like this to make sure you've got all the fittings, double hole pipes, and single hole pipes in the right places. If you let the pipes sit out in the sun, they warm up, getting a little softer and more flexible. This makes it so you might be able to push them together by hand without a mallet, but you'll probably still need the rubber mallet. The connections are pretty tight, enough to be leak-proof without any glue or PVC cement, which is a good thing in case you need to pull them apart again for any reason. I recommend starting with the inside sections of double hole pipes, then finish up by connecting the single hole pipes around the perimeter. One of the perimeter sections is substituted by those two shorter 4.5-inch pipes, joined with a female 3/4-inch hose connector for your water source. Once you've got it all put together, it's time to hook up the hose and test it out. Adding a mechanical timer or electronic water flow controller is the final touch that turns it into a truly set-it-and-forget-it system. I'm using a couple cheap plastic ones that cost only about $8. You can get nicer all-metal ones for a little more, or you can go all out and get a precision electronic version.
I guess it remains to be seen how this year's garden turns out. I think it's off to a good start. With a little luck, we'll be enjoying a little lettuce, potatoes, broccoli, beans, corn. In any case, I'm sure I'll learn a lot this year. At least, I'll learn how much I don't know about gardening. The way I see it, it's okay to start out as a bad gardener. It's the only way you're going to get any better. Am I right? But what do I know? I'm just a big guy who hangs out in a tiny house.